Riddle me this, Batman.
Riddler.
What do you get when you cross Deadpool with Death on the Nile? A
Wow.
film that is most vile. I'll kill this kid if you don't answer right now, Batman.
Oh my God, Riddler. Don't do that, Riddler. Okay, wait. Deadpool with Death on the Nile. Is it Glass Onion, Ryan Johnson's new movie?
Wrong guess, Batman.
Oh my God. That was Robin that you just killed.
Time is ticking, Batman.
Okay. Deadpool. I forgot the other one already. Could it be the cultural smash hit of Bullet Train?
Ding ding. You win this round, Batman. I'm the Riddler.
I'm Paul Dino.
Take a bow, everyone. Take a bow. That was pretty
Yay,
good. I feel like that was a pretty cohesive. I think we did a good job.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah,
We'll go through it after the show. We'll break it down. We'll do notes.
for sure.
But for now, I just want to say good job. Take 5, get some water. Good job. Welcome to the Socratic Cinema podcast. My name is James DeLisio.
I'm Kasey Clark.
And I'm Charlie Heatherly.
And I know you were probably still jaws off on the floor from that teaser for the sequel of Batman called Batman 2, Batman Takes the Bullet Train. Today, we're talking about, imagine how much of a better movie that would have been.
If it was Batman in Bullet Train instead of Brad Pitt.
Well, but like with the grungy aesthetic of Gotham City. Like a whole Batman movie where it's just Batman stuck on this effed up train, if you will, with little Arkham freaks all over it. That would have
freaks.
I think that would have been actually that could have been pretty cool.
You would love this movie called Snowpiercer. I think it's got a couple ideas in there you might vibe with.
I actually haven't seen Snowpiercer, so I've been building out my train media.
Thomas is next, obviously.
Thomas, Train to Busan, Snowpiercer.
Oh, another good one. I love Train to Busan.
Orient
Train to
Express.
Busan is great.
Love
Bullet
Orient
Train.
Express.
Can
I
we
know
do
so many movies with trains.
Yeah, I think a train. Yeah, train series, Socratic trains. There's no effort at a pun.
Yeah.
Socratic trains.
But today we
It's our
watched
training arc. Sorry.
hey, that was a good one. No, we'll take time to appreciate that one.
Yep.
Today we watched Bullet Train, the long-awaited, and by long-awaited I mean you saw this trailer in front of every movie for the last year and a half. It's Bullet Train. It's finally out. It's here.
It's Bullet Train.
It's Bullet Train. Without further ado, who? You know what? I'm gonna close my eyes and flip a coin and bing. Oh, it landed on Charlie.
What? Oh my gosh. Okay. So let me set the stage. Basically, we needed a movie to watch because Socratic Cinema was coming together in person for the first time in a very long time.
This was big. This was big.
This was big. We needed a big movie in order to make this worth it. And we knew we wanted to see it in the theater because we haven't done that in, again, a very long time. And we thought and we thought and we thought. And eventually I settled on the correct answer. That being, we all watch Bullet Train. Now, when I said that, Kasey was happy. Kasey was excited. Kasey was like, yeah, sure. And then when I said that, James curled up into a little ball and let out a shrill squeal and was a little scared because it's another one of those action movies that looks a little stupid, doesn't have a lot of substance to it, except it only looks that way because when you enter into the cinematic extravaganza that is Bullet Train, you are met by a colorful cast of incredibly interesting characters played by very great actors. Really good action. Thank you to the director of this movie, David Leitch. For some reason, I was about to mix you up with David Lynch. That would have been bad. You get a awesome setting. We love trains. Socratic Train is going to be our next big bit. I'm absolutely sure. And this is one of the premiere movies of that bit. And you just get something that is very entertaining to watch over the course of 2 hours. It really is a movie that was made so that you could have action scenes on a train. Or just action scenes in general. Like there's plenty of flashback bits that are only there to see a cool thing happen. And that's pretty much it. They serve, I guess, a little bit of a story purpose, but to me, it doesn't matter. It is such a fun movie. It is like straight out of the 90s. And if you have like any semblance of a fun bone in your body, which some members of this podcast sometimes do not have, please go watch Bullet Train and do yourself a favor. Just like take a Saturday off, get some popcorn, and just shove all of that buttery goodness down your throat as you're watching Bullet Train, because that's how movies are meant to be seen.
Wow.
10 out of
Passion.
10. No, I'm kidding. Not 10 out of 10. It's like a 7.
Casey, you have the floor.
All right. Well, I'm going to get some heat off this take because I've been getting heat off this take. This movie, it was fun. It was camp. Okay.
That's the
was
word.
camp.
That's the word. All right.
That's the word. Remember that one, guys.
Yeah.
Leave a comment. First of all, defining camp, and then saying whether or not this movie is camp. Because this has been
please.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm just getting them involved. I didn't make any arguments right there. How you already getting mad? It's been 5 minutes.
Sorry. Continue.
No, that's it. Just drop a comment. Is this movie camp? Is Bullet Train camp? And let us know, because this is a ongoing conversation.
Why I say that it's camp, because it's just like, it's ridiculous. Like, it's funny, and it's like, it's just kind of cuckoo bananas at times. And I was just the entire time like, like certain scenes would come up. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty camp. Anyways, off that point, I think it was a pretty decent movie. Like, I definitely, like, that's a movie where you have friends over. Oh, you flip it on. Hey, you guys want to watch Bullet Train? Oh, yeah, let's watch Bullet Train. It's one of those movies where you don't necessarily have to be paying attention to everything, but it does make the movie better if you do, personally.
Shocking concept.
Yeah, common sense. But again, it's not a movie that, like, because we've watched movies where you will not be enjoyable if you don't pay attention, but Bullet Train would still be enjoyable if you don't pay attention. I think some of it was a lot of cameos. Which I mean, I enjoy, but it was a decent amount of cameos. I was watching these, like, I believe it was a TikTok that almost everyone in Bullet Train has been in a superhero movie, which is hilarious, I think. But overall, I think that there's, I don't know if I haven't necessarily seen some of, like, the discourse around Bullet Train, but I think it was a decent movie. I agree with Charlie. It's definitely like a 7, 6.5. It's solid, rewatchability. I'd give it rewatchability. Definitely Death on the Nile, Murder on the Orient Express. It's within that genre for sure. But I think it was entertaining. But yeah, 6.5, 7 is my. Yeah, that's my score.
I'm fascinated. I was really expecting a Charlie Heatherly 10 and like a Casey Clark 8.5.
A Charlie Heatherly 10 for this movie? You thought I was going to give this a 10?
Well, listen, I just feel like.
Who do you think I am?
You gave Face Off a 10. You gave.
Oh, don't bring up Face Off.
Wait.
The villain of the people.
Whoa. There was another, like, you gave Predator, like, really high too. I thought this was a Charlie 10 is like, it was.
Predator like an 8?
I don't know, an 8. We said that like Kuno. It was.
Nice Disco Elysium reference.
Yeah, thank you. I've been working on my Disco Elysium impressions. I will not be doing more of them. Let me talk about my experience with this movie. I didn't want to see it. I wasn't going to see it. I was not planning on seeing it. I thought I was going to make it through its theatrical run without seeing it, because this movie has been haunting me for the last year. Every single here's what. I'm going to do a little interactive scene. All right, close your eyes. Imagine you're me walking into AMC. You sit down to see some movie you want to see, right? You sit down to see Batman or something, right? And then you're like, oh, this is going to be a great movie. I wonder what movies are coming out. And this happens every couple weeks. You keep going to the theater, and every couple weeks you sit down, the lights go out, and here's what happens. I'm a new man. New and improved. Bring the gun. This will be a simple job. I don't even know you. Well, you can't tell. Can I get something sparkling? Ding. Domo
Oh my
arigato.
Jeez, James is
And that's the Bullet Train trailer, and I've seen it 50,000 times. And this is not a unique experience. I know other frequent moviegoers are like, yeah, no, this trailer is everywhere. And you know, it didn't make me want to see the movie. It was too much. I didn't want to see it. I wasn't going to see it. I swore to myself, I will not see Bullet Train. So I saw basically everything else that was in theaters. And $3 movie day came around, and Charlie goes, well, we got to see something. And it's, you know, it's the last thing left to see. So we saw it. It was just, you know, I was like, it's only $3. I'm going to see it with my friends. It'll be fun. And against all odds, I'm going to end. My initial take has already gone. I spent it on a bit, so I'm not going to go on about it. But against all odds, I liked it.
yeah, baby.
Wow.
And I know why, and I'm going to get into it. But to set the scene, it's because it tries and gestures at having themes. And that's why. That's, to me, that's the variable. But we'll talk about it. But
Okay.
yeah, I would give it like 6 or 6.5.
Ooh.
That's 6.5 probably.
Almost stuck the landing.
Well, that was like what you guys gave it.
I give it a 7.
Oh, sorry, that 0.5 really makes all that. Yeah, anyways.
Does.
Let's start. Or you sounded like you had something to say, Charlie.
I just had a cue for you, a quick cue.
Okay.
Does Die Hard have themes in it?
Yeah, and I would say like overall I like Die Hard.
More than Bullet Train?
Do I like Die Hard more than Bullet Train? I've only seen Die Hard once, and it was like,
You've also seen Bullet Train only once.
yeah, but Die Hard was a long time ago, like a year and a half ago.
The fact you were not immediately yelling yes, yes, yes is concerning to me.
I don't know. I'd probably maybe like Bullet Train more.
Okay. And just so that we have it on record again, Face Off does not have themes.
No, I genuinely in the theater I was trying to think. I was like, what are Face Off's themes? Nothing. Came up blank.
Oh my
Wow.
god. Oh my god.
Okay, wait, then you tell me what are Face Off's themes. They swap at the face. You are who you pretend to be.
Family.
Shut up. Go
Love.
home. Unplug your microphone. Turn the computer off.
Religious reconciliation.
That's not. They fight in a church. That doesn't. That's not.
There's doves. There's a choir boy.
Imagery is not
Did you
the same
watch
as a
this
theme.
movie, James?
Imagery is
Yeah.
not the same as a theme.
Seeing the worst of yourself in another person.
Yep.
Okay,
Revenge.
Come on now.
How
Kasey,
violence
maybe.
perpetuates through the ages.
Kasey, maybe. Charlie's been saying things that could apply to any movie. This movie has concrete things that it's talking about. Whether or not it's like insightful or cool or works, I don't really care. I just care about the fact that it tried and had a concrete like running theme of luck and fate. Luck versus fate. Same sort of duality you see in a movie that I love, which is Night is Short, Walk On Girl. Same theme there. Fate, they phrase it as chance versus fate there, but same idea. It's a fun theme. It's fun. I genuinely think it works. I like what they do with the ladybug thing. I think that the way they develop that over the course of the movie is nice, and you know it gives Brad Pitt Chris Pine, Brad Pitt.
Brad
I'm sorry.
Pitt.
I started
Are
thinking
you
about.
serious?
I started
Don't
thinking-
worry, darling.
Yes, I did. Have you seen
Wow.
the thing where Harry Styles like spit on him?
Okay,
What?
we're not
He
doing.
spit on
We're
him?
going to do this later.
Harry
Let's
Styles
do this
spit on
later.
Chris Pine. Harry Styles spit on.
Oh
Okay,
my
yeah.
God!
Shia LaBeouf was supposed to be in that movie.
Stop.
Anyways, Brad Pitt had a really nice arc in this movie. I thought Brad Pitt was great, and most of the ensemble cast is great too. Some performances
Tangerine and lemon.
they ruled. Some performances stronger than others.
Joey. Oh, never mind.
no,
I
no,
thought
no,
you were
no.
gonna say sucked, and I was like Joey King.
Joey King did not do it for me.
This
in
is the
Yeah.
Joey King
She
hate
did
squad.
She did weaponize white woman tears, which is like
True.
good on you, movie. But wish she acted just a little bit better.
Yeah, or just I don't know. I don't know if it's the way I don't know if it's the way she was written or if it was her performance. That's always hard to say for
Yeah,
me. It's
that's
always
fair.
a tricky line to walk because I mean, but then again, I look at Joey King's filmography and I'm like, what are you bringing to the table?
Damn.
First of all, you haven't seen The Act.
I
First of
haven't.
all,
I haven't seen the act. Hold on.
I don't think any human has seen The Act. What is
Joey-
that?
I've seen The
King.
Act. That's when she's playing Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
Okay, well, look, she's got 3 Kissing Booth movies on here.
Okay.
Ramona and Beezus.
Listen, did the check
Slender
cash?
Man.
She was in Slender Man.
Oh,
Yeah.
Young
no.
Talia al Ghul.
Oz the Great and Powerful.
She doesn't get any sympathy for me for being young Talia al Ghul.
She was in. Yeah, there's not a lot going on here for her. I'm afraid. The Sound and the Fury with
The
James Franco.
Conjuring. What was she in The Conjuring?
Uh,
What?
No idea.
Was she one of the kids? Oh my god, I think she's one of the kids.
She's Christine.
That
Okay,
makes
well,
sense.
That doesn't mean anything for me.
Oh, I thought you were a Mr. Conjuring superfan.
Well, I don't know the name of the
Uh-huh.
kid in the Conjuring
Mhm.
movie.
It's
Oh
surprising
my
that
God.
you do, James.
He's looking at IMDb. Don't.
No, I
Don't let
know, I
him fool
know, but I just
You're
I just find it
surprised I was
funny.
surprised I
Okay.
was courageous enough to go on the IMDb page for the Conjuring.
She was great in
Yeah.
The Conjuring. She's actually my favorite actress now. So,
Oh, okay, cool. Well,
yeah,
Joey
stop
King.
saying
Yeah,
mean
we
things.
love Joey King.
Yeah,
Um,
love her.
Zazie. Great to see
Oh, yes.
Zazie. Even though I really didn't like the character they gave her. I
oh,
thought
a hornet.
her one scene was really annoying.
Really?
Like saying, okay, pardon my bad word moment coming. All right, all you little ones, plug your ears. Certified bad word. Saying bitch at the end of every line isn't funny.
No, it's clever.
It's never been. It's not funny.
No, let me
It's-
explain it.
It's only funny when Jesse Pinkman does it. Everything else doesn't work.
Because
Oh, come on.
so
Shut up,
comedy
I'm
is
right.
about the art of doing the unexpected.
If you
right?
say repetition or something, I'm gonna kill you.
when I finish a
I'm
sentence,
gonna
do you
kill
expect
you.
me to say that word? No, you don't, right?
I do in this
So
case.
It's really funny though. Like if I say I just picked up a pencil, bitch, like that's hilarious.
That was so funny. I had to mute myself. I was laughing so hard.
No, your laughter was deafening. Actually, I think I lost my hearing for a second.
Listen,
Yeah.
listen. Let's be real. Let's be real. And admit to ourselves that a lot of the humor in this movie is.
Oh, stop! What is wrong with you?
Okay,
No,
James
what?
described it as Marvel humor.
Boo!
I think
He
that's a good
described it as
take.
Marvel humor.
I think that's a
I
good
don't
take.
necessarily disagree with the take, but it's not like
It's better than Marvel humor. I will say this movie's
Yeah.
better than the humor in like Thor: Love and Thunder. Right? It's funnier than Thor: Love and Thunder. Award of the
Yes.
year. But you can tell that this is by the guy who did Deadpool. Like this movie is just kind of dead like Marvel did Kill Bill. Which, you
Yeah.
know, is not necessarily a bad thing. I think a lot of the aesthetic that this movie goes for really works. I think some of the like I generally love the aesthetic of neon, bullet train, this sort of like modern samurai aesthetic going on with the Yakuza. But some parts of it I feel like didn't stick as much, like the graphic text that they would overlay a lot didn't work for me as
I
much.
like the intros.
It felt kind of cheap. It felt cheaply made.
I feel like it's a very small thing though. Like
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a pretty recurring
Yeah.
visual
I mean,
motif.
But James also sorry, correct me if I'm wrong, but you also had that issue with I believe it was either Endgame or Infinity War or both.
About text on screen?
Yeah, about like the text on screen.
Did we talk about either of those movies?
Oh wait, no, it was what was the Spider-Man movie that we talked about? Not
No Way Home.
not No Way Home. Was it Far From Home? I think they did it in Far From Home.
Wait, we didn't talk about any of the other Spider-Man movies, except for Spider-Man 2, like 4 years ago.
Casey, how much mescaline did you take?
No,
I'm trying to remember a movie where I talked about text on screen. I mean, I mentioned
Jay- I'm not insane. Charlie, do you remember this?
I mean, it does sound familiar. It sounds like a James take, right?
Right. It sounds like a James take. I swear that he said this.
I'm sure you're correct. I can't remember which movie he said it for.
Drop it in the comments if you know.
Yeah. Somebody do the research for us. But like, I think it's sort of hard for me to dislike that choice because I think it's very clearly within their thematic set of stuff that they do. Like the movie is very bright, it's very bold. That type of title is something that I think fits within that theme. And it ends up being more of a like, do I like that style or do I like that visual approach or do I not?
Yeah, like definitely.
It's not like they failed at what they were trying to do.
Yeah, you do have to see it as like a stylistic choice, which the movie is full of. And some of them I'm like, yeah, okay. Even like the introductions and the jumping around, like that's very, very stylistic. But if you're not into that, you're not going to enjoy the movie. But I don't know. There's certain things where it's like, okay, I don't mind it, but like with Multiverse of Madness, that was a very, very stylistic movie. And there's some things where I'm like, okay, cool. And other things I was like, nope, can't get behind it. Yep. But this movie, it was pretty much all of the stylistic choices I was okay with. Like it didn't take away the experience for me because I felt like it really did contribute to, as you were saying, Charlie, the aesthetics that they were going for. I think they tried and they succeeded.
Yeah. Well, and the aesthetics feed directly into a lot of what happens within the story itself. Like, I think you are right. Like, to a certain definition of camp, this movie's very campy because it's incredibly over the top, both visually and like plot wise. And same with the humor. Like, it makes sense that this movie ends with a bullet train crashing into a sleepy Japanese city. And then there's like Brad Pitt somehow survives by flying through the middle of the train, incredibly luckily, and slamming into the mascot's bodysuit, right? Like, yeah, it's so ridiculous. It's so stupid. But at that point, you just sort of believe it because this world has been set up that way. And I really like, as Jane was saying, the theme of like luck versus fate, because by explaining that this character thinks they're very unlucky, but in reality, you can observe that they are pretty lucky, you get to write off a lot of the ridiculous stuff that happens in the movie fairly well. I do think that the themes of this movie are not the best part, though. I think it absolutely comes down to the cast of characters, to the acting, and to the action. I think that David Leitch really knows how to direct action very, very well. And you get to see it again here. All of the fight scenes felt very kinetic to me. They weren't over-edited. They didn't have that much shaky cam compared to something like Marvel. I would have liked some longer takes, but I think that they chose actors that could do a lot of the choreography really well. And a lot of the fight scenes felt different because they were taking place in different parts of the car or with different weapons. And I was pretty thoroughly entertained all the way throughout because of the pacing and because of the direction and because of the stylistic choices. So it's good to see that the movie really knew the kind of tone it wanted to cultivate and kept cultivating that tone pretty uniformly throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think definitely you're right that the themes are not the strongest part of the movie. I hope that my prior statements didn't come off as me saying these are really great, well developed. Like this is the pinnacle of the, because it's not. You're right. It's the action, but I just appreciate that it had themes, is what I was saying. Like I appreciate that this is action plus something else on the side, not But no, you're right. All the action was great. Totally just echoing, everything you said. I do think, and I completely forgot, there was something you said that I was going to disagree with. But I don't remember what it was. So.
Gotcha.
Gosh, I'm so agreeable.
Spared. I know. Spared this time. Yeah. What did I want to ask?
Probably.
No, it was. You said something about.
Because this movie is sort of paced weirdly. It
like, drags a little in the third act.
Well, it's just like, it's hard for me to criticize it for it because it does it so early and so often. But this movie is like, you take one leap forward and 2 steps back and 1 leap forward and 2 steps back. Like, it keeps doing these flashbacks to these different scenes that don't really matter all that much. I think the biggest example is when Lemon and Tangerine are talking about the kill count. that is probably the most superfluous scene in the entire movie.
Yes.
Uh,
yeah.
And it's really weird that they set it up there, but it also sets up the fact that you will be consistently flashing back to pretty much anything and everything throughout the rest of the movie. So I don't really know how I feel about it. Like, personally, it's not my favorite way to pace a movie, but they seem to pull it off to the best of their ability. Like, I can't blame it for it.
They stick with it, and that's what I'll say. While I disagree with a lot of the choices they made, I can at least appreciate that they stuck with their choices. But when we were walking out of the theater, I commented on it. I could have done without a lot of the excessive. There's the extended flashback scenes that they do, and then there's also this thing where, like, when they mention a prior event, they do like a cutback to it, just like a 2-second cutaway. Those really started to annoy me after a while. Again, they do it consistently. It's part of their style. Sure, that's their choice. It just did not work with me. It felt like it almost felt like have you ever seen a TV show where they sort of, it's like creating artificial emotion by having the character repeat these lines from earlier in the episode. It's like, we remember. Yeah. I'm not stupid. I remember what they said, you know? That's sort of how I felt with these cutbacks, where it's like, I know where this little knife came from. You don't need to cut back to the scene of it earlier in the movie. Like, I know what this thing is. You don't need to keep cutting back to it. I remember. But you know, again, it's a stylistic choice they made. It's just one that I personally, had I been in the editing suite, I would have argued against it. But I obviously wasn't. But it is what it is, I guess. Yeah, I think my problem with it pacing was that I feel like and this happens a lot with action movies or just more recent blockbusters. I feel like the third act just gets so bloated. I was, when they were setting up for sort of the final confrontation with the what's his name, the White Death. I was expecting, they had the 4 good guys left alive, and they pulled up to the station with this epic music playing, and the White Death and his guys were there. And I was expecting that to be sort of like, that would be the final battle at that location, and that would be it. But then there's this whole extended train going too fast, we can't stop it sequence. There's this whole train flying through the forest sequence. Then there's this whole sequence in the village after. And I was like, it just got, I would have condensed it a little more. It started to drag for me. But that's my biggest issue with the pacing. In the beginning, I thought it moved very fast.
I think that's probably the point that we disagree on. Is I actually really like the ridiculous train sequence. Well, yeah, no. The one thing is this ending sequence. I actually like the ridiculousness of the final fight. I think that it's appropriately cinematic, but I wish that they sort of weaved the mini climaxes within the fight better together. Like, you get to see the climax between the White Death and the Elder pretty, like, relatively early inside the sequence. And then only is the White Death brought back to be like this big almost upset victory from him when he has the gun that then blows his head off.
And then there's another upset from the girl after. It just feels like it's a lot of, I don't know, wrap it up.
I think if
land the plane.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, if they manage to do the climaxes where the train crashes and at that moment Brad Pitt is saved, and also that's when they kill the White Death, I feel like that probably would have tied it better together for me. And also, like, the prince would be involved somehow and you kill the prince or whatever. But I also do like the final flashback to see how Lemon got the tangerine truck.
Oh yeah, that was nice.
Run over.
Yeah.
So again, like, even in the very end, it's sticking to that pacing thing. It just requires that kind of pacing requires a little bit of an overreach so that you can then step back and explain the overreach. So
yeah, that's fair.
Again, it is consistent, but I think specifically in the third act, when you really want this to come to like a very satisfying conclusion, it drags on a little bit too much. Although I don't dislike the idea of the train derailing and it being this big fiasco.
No, in theory, that's fun. Yeah. Go ahead, Kasey.
Oh yeah. No, I was oh so sorry. I was just gonna say that I agree with Charlie that I feel like it was just a way to kind of not even to wrap up all of the possible plot holes, but definitely just to give everything like a satisfying ending. Like you want to see like, okay, well, Lemon jumped off the plane. Sorry, jumped off the train. But where like is he dead? What is he going to do? Like, where's the prince? The prince isn't dead. So I feel like it was just they have condensed it more, definitely, but I do feel like they were just in not necessarily in a rush, but they wanted to make sure that everything kind of had a bow on it at the end.
Yeah, they do tie it all up. I guess my point is just more so that I would have just made it shorter. Like I would have just simply like it's a runtime thing. Like I would have just done fewer set pieces in the final fight. Um which, feel free to disagree. Um but like I was super hyped for this big showdown at the Kyoto station, which they'd been building towards for the whole movie, and they play this awesome music and have everyone like roll up with all their new gear. They just, and I was like really excited. And then there wasn't really that much of a I don't know. There wasn't really that much of a fight there. They kind of left pretty quick and did the whole train thing. And I was a little bit sad personally because I love a big musical build up to a final fight. That is an action thing that I do love. But speaking of which, this movie feels like very Edgar Wright. There's a lot of moments. There's a lot of action that's paced to. I noticed there was a lot of pacing done to music. A lot of the fights were very synced up with music, and that was really and the like fast dialogue. But that's not a super an Edgar Wright thing. But it had some of those vibes to me. I think like sort of quick, quippy, irreverent, witty action is becoming very popular. With things like Deadpool or like, like Edgar Wright or the Tarantino style of dialogue or the Waititi Deadpool Ryan Reynolds cinematic industrial complex, if you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
If that word soup makes sense, because it's very clear in my brain. This movie definitely does have that Ryan Reynolds humor, which is the only way I know how to describe it. And he is in the movie.
He is in the movie.
He
This
is.
true.
For 1
He's
second.
the reason for Ladybug's problems.
I thought that was funny. I thought that was good. I will say,
yeah.
I was very pleasantly surprised with how well thought out the plot was. Like it was very well planned. I appreciate all the winding, moving parts. Like it was a mystery that I was genuinely intrigued in, and it managed to wrap it up in a way that didn't feel contrived to me and was also satisfying, which is hard to do.
Well, and I think one of the biggest indicators of the movie's success, at least for like a very broad audience, is that when we were in the theater, there were moments where like the entire crowd gasped or was shocked at something happening. And you could tell that some of the bigger twists and turns inside of the movie seem to really hit home. I think particularly when Tangerine dies, it's so good. I really do buy the relationship between Tangerine and Lemon. And I think that both of those actors do a really phenomenal job. Aaron Taylor Johnson as Tangerine, when he's reacted to like who or what he thinks is Lemon's dead body, like the anger, the rage, the sadness, it's all there. And it's like, why are you acting so hard in this movie of all movies? Like he's really trying to get himself back in multiverse.
Kneecaps. He put his kneecaps, his ankles, his knee. Dude,
are you gonna say kneecaps again?
Yes.
He put his kneecaps. Both of them, all two.
Both of them, all two.
Like he did so well. So it's those characters that keep me coming back to the action. And I'm glad to see that they had moments that shocked the audience because of how good the acting was and how good some of the twists were. Like when they revealed that the prince was the White Death's daughter.
Yeah, that was
shocked.
good.
And
That was good.
it's very cool watching it for a second time, knowing all the twists, because it just feels like a normal movie. Like it all of it makes sense so perfectly well that when you watch it with all of the context, it's like, yeah, no, this just makes sense. Like every single beat of this I totally get, and I get why it's happening. And I'm actually sort of shocked that I didn't realize it the first time.
Yeah, pretty much.
So good movie, good job on making your twists get the audience. Because I'm happy that they ended up killing a lot of the characters in it, because I think that makes for a really interesting plot.
It was good, but there was some deaths that genuinely I was like, oh man, I would have liked more of them.
Yeah, Bad Bunny. Needed more Bad Bunny.
Always forget that murder mysteries involve murders. Hate it. Hate to see it. Hate to see it happen on my watch. I wish there was more I could have done. But no, yeah, I think this is a very fun murder mystery. I'm not super like familiar with this genre. It's not something I normally partake in, and really my only frames of reference are Knives Out and Death on the Nile, which are like opposite ends of the spectrum. So I don't. This was like a very like good medium ground murder mystery where it's like, yeah, this checked all the boxes and was fun.
I also I don't know if I'd qualify it as a murder mystery, only because it's such a weird movie in that it's not a murder mystery because there's not really a mystery you're trying to solve all the way out. But there's so many plot threads you're trying to connect together. I think it's just it's just action. It's just like a action movie with a lot of intrigue inside of it. If it was a murder mystery, I think that you almost require a detective character and you require the point to be figuring out someone's identity, which is not what this is. This is like very clearly the audience is the onhas detective inside of it.
But I feel like I would argue that it's maybe a pseudo. I don't know. I think it has some links in that tradition for sure. I think that's a good point that the audience is the detective. I think that's true. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like maybe it's not a strictly a murder mystery, but I would still feel comfortable placing it closer to that end of the spectrum. Because I mean, I don't know. There is so much intrigue, and
there's like murders and there's mystery inside of the movie, but I don't think that it qualifies the structure of it to become.
That's fair. That's fair. Maybe, yeah, I think you're probably right.
Maybe I'm wrong though. Leave some comments. Increase our searchability.
Is it camp? Is it a murder mystery?
Yeah.
Here at
Boost our engagement.
Most of our arguments revolve around just categorizing things, which is like the most pedantic and least meaningful form of argument, where it's like, this goes in this box and not that box.
Welcome to academia.
Doesn't really matter. But yeah, I still stand by that Children of Men is a Christmas movie. So yeah, I'm
that take I really like.
I'm firmly about arguing boxes. But yeah, I don't know. I think this is a dare I recommend this movie? I might. If you, here's the thing.
I think you should.
Let me say this though. It is very much if you like gratuitous violence, you're gonna like this movie. If you don't like gratuitous violence, you're not gonna like this movie. Like, it is very clear in what it is. It's exactly what you think it's gonna be. It is witty, irreverent violence. And so if you don't like that, don't see it. If you do like that, see it. You'll like it. It's if you think you're going to like this movie, you'll like this movie. If you think you're not going to like this movie, you won't like it. Like, this is one of those rare movies where it's exactly what you think it is, and whatever, aside from me who had a weird vendetta against it because of the trailer, if you think, whatever you think your reaction to this movie is going to be, it's probably what it will wind up being, at least in my opinion. Like, I don't think this is a movie that'll surprise you unless you're me and me only. Yeah, but that's, I guess, my verdict on Bullet Train. I can't call it Bullet Lame anymore. Well, it is kind of lame, but like in an endearing way. It's Bullet fine. It's Bullet pretty good.
Bullet,
yeah, Bullet movie. So, do with that what you will. I feel okay. I don't know if I have anything else to say, frankly. But if you guys want to keep going on this Bullet Train, I'll keep going with you.
I think I only have one point to make, one question
Oh,
to ask.
yes.
How did we feel about the cameos? Like, we have a lot of cameos in this movie that are like, do we feel like it took away from the movie? Do we feel like it added to the movie? Are we indifferent? Because of the cameos, we have like Bad Bunny, we have Channing Tatum, we have David Harbour in there.
David
Like,
Harbour was in this movie?
Wait, where?
Yeah, he was between the two lackeys trying to open the briefcase.
Oh, I knew that. I knew one of
Two
them.
lackeys trying to open the briefcase.
At the
Oh
end,
my gosh, that
yeah.
was David Harbour?
Yes, I was like,
Oh.
Hopper.
Really? I didn't even notice that. That's because he had a mask on.
Anyways,
Logan
yeah, that's
Lerman,
what.
also
Logan Learman, Percy
Ryan Reynolds,
Jackson,
if you already said
Ryan
that.
Reynolds.
I would say this.
Yes.
None of them took away from the movie for me, but none of them added anything either. Like,
Okay.
I would have thought the reveal about Ladybug's coworker would have been just as fun and just as good of a twist for me if it was any other actor. Like, it was funny to go, it's Ryan Reynolds. But after that 3-second high, it's exactly the same as it would have been with anyone else. So I'm indifferent.
Really,
Okay.
I think it adds so much that it's Ryan Reynolds. I think that like idea that this guy is someone that's incredibly hateable and that you're sort of rooting against in this very specific way. I think Ryan Reynolds is so perfect for that because you also know that he's David Leitch's like star child.
Okay, yeah,
Like-
maybe that specific example was not a good one, but swap that argument I just made for any cameo in the movie. I don't know.
Yeah,
I still
Bad
stand
Bunny.
by what I said.
Bad Bunny, I love every single one of these cameos. The movie is 10 times more fun because it is that person. The fact that Bad Bunny was pitched as one of the main people inside of this movie and dies after a incredibly long flashback. He gets like 2 minutes of screen time in the present, and that's it. Like, it's so funny to me. It's so hilarious that they got him to slump over in a chair and slam his head against the table. And like, you know that he's the one that probably did that because he does wrestling too. So he's not unused to stunts. But like, that is hilarious. Channing Tatum in this. Channing Tatum's okay. Like, he does the ha 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 guy that presents as really straight's actually gay bit. He does that all the time. So it's like, it's not the funniest thing in the world,
Not
but I also
funny,
like
ha-ha.
that funny, weird. David Harbour's cool. Like, all of them, I like that they're in this movie. I like that it's a bunch of celebrities saying, you know what would be really fun if you were in my action movie, and then like they just all decided to be in it.
Yeah, I'm not mad about any of them. Not mad at all. But none of them I was like, you know?
Yeah.
It's the guy doing the thing.
I know that guy.
Where was Meryl Streep?
Yeah. Where was I don't have a joke. Does anyone else have any final before I take us to the spiel zone?
Oh my god.
What's your take on it, Kasey?
Oh, I thought it was cool. Like, I didn't think that it took away from the movie at all. I think it was very it was fun to kind of be like, oh my gosh, it's them. But as similarly to James, it wasn't like it's the guy. I wasn't expecting to see this person because like within the trailer, we kind of knew who was going to show up except for maybe like David Harbour. And I can't even remember if Channing Tatum's in the trailer. But I do think I do like that they did have some gotcha moments of you thought this person was going to be in here, but guess what? They die.
Like Pete Davidson in the Suicide Squad.
Yes, exactly like Pete Davidson in Suicide Squad, which I don't know. I like that little I like that trope, I guess.
Yeah.
Like you build up this character just to kill them off within like the first 10 minutes of their screen time. I think it's hilarious. It's like the biggest, like, I don't know. I guess you could call it a pump fake, if you will.
Well, I like whenever filmmakers are a little mean to their audience.
Yeah.
The audience is babied too much. Be mean to your audience.
Normalize being mean to your audience.
Yeah, normalize just doing things that they don't want to happen.
Yeah, like Lady Gaga in the Joker.
Oh my
Exa-
God,
no,
it's
I
so
think-
good.
Yes, I was going to say, I think it's great because everyone who loved Joker 1 hates the way Joker 2 is going. And I think
Oh,
that's
yeah.
perfect.
It's
I think that's
perfect.
Yeah, Bullet Train. That's that.
It's a fast train,
Yep.
and we're on a fast track to the Spiel show. Spiel.
Oh, thank you. That was a good segue.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening. This has been another quick and easy episode of the Socratic Cinema podcast. Socratic Cinema is made possible by your grassroots contributions. So thank you so much to all of our patrons who donate at least $1 a month. I should say as little as $1 a month on patreon.com/Socratic Cinema. It's how we keep the lights on. It's how we keep the content coming. So if you enjoy listening, consider supporting for as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/Socratic Cinema. You can find us on social media, on Instagram at Socratic_cinema and Twitter at Cinema Socratic. If you enjoyed the episode, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Find us on all major podcast platforms for more and video essays on YouTube. What?
Yeah.
2 forms of content?
What?
Crazy. Yeah, share it with a friend and let us know in the comments if Bullet Train is camp. And we'll see you next time.
The answer is
Signing
yes.
out. Adios.
Adios.